2014 was a massive year for cricket in the Emirates. It will be remembered by many for hosting the opening rounds of the Indian Premier League with such success, but it was also a year of significant progress for the UAE national team. A runner-up finish in the ICC World Cup qualifier tournament in February secured not only their place at the 2015 ICC World Cup, but also one-day international status for the UAE until 2018.
It's been a remarkable journey for me as well as the team. It's quite astonishing how they have progressed. All of that, most of that work was done well before I arrived. What I'm trying to do now is to use that as a platform to ensure that we've got sustainability going forward for the team and the infrastructure that supports it and the developmental framework underneath it.
The progress UAE cricket has made, I think it's wonderful. To be honest, when I came, we were looking to play for Asia Cups, once a 2 year. We were, although a good team for that level, in associate level. But since that, we changed a lot. We worked really hard, and I think last couple of years, they've completely changed our game. Now we are playing the best league we can, international cricket. We played T20 World Cup, and now we're looking forward for the World Cup. We have to fight, and we have to win this match.
Key to the development of the UAE national side was the appointment of former Pakistan bowler Aqib Javed in 2012. Having coached the Pakistan under-19 side to World Cup victory, as well as winning the 1992 World Cup as a player, Aqib brings a wealth of international experience to the role of head coach.
Aqib's done a fabulous job since he's been here. I think he's here just under 3 years now, and just before I arrived, a year before I arrived, and he's done a great job in terms of galvanising the talent that's in the side and encouraging them. He's a very highly qualified coach, he's a good communicator, and with the support of Madassan Nazar, as you said, it's brilliant having someone of his calibre here as well.
Ever since Aqib came here, there's been so much energy spent on these players, as well as they're returning the favour.
He has a lot of positivity in him. Like when we players, after work, we come and do a lot of training. We tend to, take it a little easy. We go down, but he has been a person who has been pushing us. Whatever happened, you're not going to die. Okay, nothing is going to happen. You get hit, you be brave. Come up again and do it. So that is something a person like we get to hear from a top-class player. It is really motivating. So from inside, we feel like, yeah, he's really pushing. He wants us to do better.
To help bridge the gap to the top international sides, the UAE is now part of the ICC High Performance Programme. Launched in 2001, the HPP provides expertise and funding to improve off- and on-field structures in the top emerging sides. Essential support to help their senior and under-19 players perform on the international stage. As part of this, the UAE have been invited to tour in Australia as part of their World Cup preparations.
As a result of qualifying for the HPP, it tapped into some additional funding, but also some additional resources as well, which meant that we could lock into some of the high-performance programmes that are being run by ICC, and that schedule was in place for the trip to Australia in Perth and Darwin.
HPP, I think it was a wonderful initiative, to be honest, and I would like to have, many more tournaments and tours to be like that. I mean, it was wonderful facilities playing in Australia. Obviously, we're going to go and play World Cup there. I mean, playing competitive cricket, best teams in the world, they're against them. It's definitely, develop your confidence, develop your game as well.
Recently, when the team went to Australia, the batting really clicked and they equipped themselves really well against all the top bowlers of Western Australia and South Australia. Historically, when teams have gone to Australia, the first 2 or 3 matches, they all struggle, but it was just the other way around with these boys. So that augurs well for UAE cricket.
I'm delighted with the feedback I'm receiving, and I know the coaches as well. So, yeah, the commitment is there, and we're definitely seeing improvements in performance as well.
I think we have learned a lot from Australia, and we earned a lot of respect among, top Western Australian team, first-class team, and South Australian team.
The UAE team gained further experience of playing the top-tier nations when they hosted the Pakistan A team in October of 2014.
You always become better by playing against better players. And that's exactly what UAE is doing now, playing against Pakistan A. They know there's a challenge there. These guys are 7 days a week cricketers. They're They all come from Pakistan National Academy. So this is the real test for them. But that is exactly what they're going to face in the World Cup.
As we all know, international sport is a high pressurized environment, and the more you're exposed to it, the more you get used to it. And it's important that these guys, you know, play against good opposition, put under pressure at times, and hopefully when it comes to World Cup time, that you know, they understand what the pressure's all about and make good decisions.
I think these sort of opposition what we're looking for before the World Cup, because once you're competing with the international teams, you got to have a good prep. So I think it was a good hard time. Although we beat them in the first game, and second was really tight, and then gradually I think you know, they're understand our strengths and keeping pushing us hard. So I think that's what we wanted.
Playing against Pakistan team was a really great experience, and yeah, that you know, I was lucky, and I was able to score you know, a couple of 50s and got you know, a few wickets. So it was an all-round performance for me, and it went really well. And there were 7 internationals who were 7 test players or 7 one-day international players who had played in that team, and I think they had taken us a little light, and though we ended up in the losing side, but we had you know, a lot to take from you know, those matches. Playing with those guys, we gained, you know, we realized, you know, where we stand. You know, all those hard work we have put in this few months, it really paid off, and all of us did really well. And yeah, 3-2 was not bad enough.
With most of the team currently working full-time and fitting in training around their jobs, reaching and maintaining the fitness required to compete at the top international level has had its challenges. The coaches have had to develop fitness programs that can work around the players' day-to-day lives.
I think the emphasis on fitness has changed massively over the last decade or so. And with the nature of the shorter forms of the game, more one-day cricket being played, the advent of 2020 cricket, guys have got to be fitter. Everyone, it's probably shown or highlighted most in the area of fielding. The fielding standards have gone through the roof since I started 16, 17 years ago. And everyone, before your fast bowlers, they were allowed to stick a boot on it down at fine leg. Now they're expected to take diving catches and sliding stops and the likes. And the fitness levels of these guys who are playing a lot of cricket these days has had to improve, and it has massively. And I know that these guys have been working hard on their fitness, and there'll be a considerable improvement from where they started, and hopefully they'll be peaking at the right time.
I think the biggest thing is that the guys play a lot of cricket, so that skill element is always there, and it's definitely something that we really try to focus on. But the idea of improving their fitness is the ability to perform these skills under fatigue. So, in that 20 to 30 overs, that time when they're crucial to take that catch, you don't want them drifting. We want them to be still as energetic in the field and being able to stop that run or take that catch. Or even making that run between the wickets to make the other, to get the turn ones into twos and things like that. So that's a big thing we've focused on, and and the boys are really buying into it, which is good.
Fitness is going to be a really key factor in the modern day cricket, because skills, nobody can be really up to that 100%. Everybody will have, at a certain level, you'll have the same amount of skill. Maybe very few will have above that. But fitness is something which you got to be really, at your peak. That nobody's going to stop you. Skill, you may be blessed, you may be trained, you can train and get to that skill level. But fitness is something you don't have to have anything. You have to just go work hard and gain that, fitness. If you ask me, being fit is something which is like, I'm like top of the world.
As part of the HPP programme, a number of consultants are brought in to provide specialist assistance to the team. This recently saw former England captain Paul Collingwood, ex-England wicketkeeper Chris Reed and veteran Nottinghamshire all-rounder Paul Franks brought in to assist with training.
We brought in Paul Collingwood, the fielding coach, Paul Franks as a bowling coach, and Chris Reed as a keeping coach. And the big thing about that is the opportunity for them to get exposed to the level of expertise that these guys have, having played X amount of county games as well as, international World Cup winners. And, I think the guys really look up to people like that. So a key for example, and Madassa as the batting coach, they really look up to them. So to bring fresh faces in, a little bit of extra spin, not just for the players, but also for the coaches. You know, we learn a lot off them as well, so it's really good.
It's good, guys. Don't think about shoulders or anything like that. It's the hips in line. Once the hips are in line, that will align the shoulders, okay? So everybody thinks, oh, got to get this out. It's the hips. When you're picking the ball up and you're going for that target, you're aligning the hips. See how everything else comes around straight away? So it's the hips. So picking it up, and through, okay? There's a lot of skill level here. That's one thing that you notice straight away is that these guys have got a lot of skill, but I guess it's switching on for the important periods, the pressure periods, and understanding your own game, your own strengths and weaknesses. So, you know, there are differences around the world, but primarily these guys have got good skills just like we do back in England.
I think, you know, the skill levels of these guys is fantastic. We know that. It's just trying to create, yes, improve their fitness, but also create a level of professionalism that they probably don't quite have or understand at the minute, so that when they come up against the top nations, they can compete on a level playing field.
One more thing before dive, we need to take a little step, or
the pace that we're doing these, okay, is going to mean that you haven't got much time, but automatically, okay, so automatically you will naturally push off your outside foot, but don't think about it, because there's no time to think about this. All you've got to think about is the ball, and hopefully by drilling it, what will happens naturally, and you're fine.
Confidence among the team is on the up and up, with the training paying dividends and players hitting their targets. However, no one is under any illusions about the size of the challenge that awaits them at the World Cup.
It's going to be a most amazing experience for many of them, probably the best cricketing experience that they'll ever have. So enjoyment has got to be there. But ideally, we want to come away and accredit ourselves very well. It's a tough group, but if we can win 1 or 2 matches, what an astonishing performance that would be.
We've got a chance of beating everybody. And that's the belief one must have. Otherwise, there's no point in going to the World Cup.
I mean, look, we target 2 games, a realistic target. And target is not Zimbabwe or Ireland. Any team, you know, if you want to beat the top teams, it has to be their bad day, and you make sure that you took that opportunity.
Look, if you get a couple of wins and you play good cricket, a good brand of cricket, then you're going to come away and, you know, you'll be absolutely delighted. And playing in the World Cup is, you know, it's a dream come true for these guys, and I'm sure they'll go out there and enjoy it.
Like, World Cup is a big event for any cricketer. World Cup is the ultimate thing. So getting into the World Cup squad is something, you know, we need to be really, you know, pushing ourselves hard, and all those hard work is what we're going to get at being in the squad.
Beyond the World Cup, the future for cricket in the UAE is on the up too. Increased support from the ICC and local government, as well as initiatives to attract new players and improve facilities, are helping to nurture the game at grassroots level.
From my point of view, I think the national development structure is one of the most important things that we secure, that we've got a defined pathway for all of our cricketers at all different age groups to compete with the best playing the best and moving through into the national squads at all different age groups. And also in the involvement of more Emiratis in the game. We have a limited number of Emiratis in the game at the moment. It's something which I'm very keen to push forward, and we're doing everything we can to enhance those opportunities for them.
I was surprised because, you know, once you talk about, you know, young kids, 13, 14 years old, they're all expats, you know, from India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, or, you know, few from Europe. So they always said, look, what is your ambition? I said, I'll grow up, go back to my country and represent my country. And now more than 50% are saying, look, we want to play for UAE. So this is what we have gained in 3 years. And I think the coming World Cup, if we do well, definitely, you know, even the local Emirati will look at it at option. So I think this is what we are aiming. We're going there, go to the World Cup, show some good stuff, and inspire youngsters to, you know, to target a UAE team.